bubbleball.me. We're broadcasting live, and here I have with me Carlos. He's from Toronto, Canada, and he runs bubbleballsoccer.com. You can also find him at bubbleballsoccer.com, like I just said, Facebook and Instagram, Bubble Soccer, and then Twitter at LOL Bubble Soccer. Anything else that you'd like to add?
Hey, Lindsay. No, that's perfect. Thanks very much. We're trying to make it easy for everybody to reach us. That's for sure.
Great. Okay. So like I said, thank you so much for joining me. So excited to have you, especially since you had mentioned that you've been here kind of right in the beginning of when Bubble Soccer started to take root into North America.
Yeah, for sure. I wish your organization was around back then because it would have been really helpful to have a little bit of help. Back then, everyone saw the video from Europe and the radio show guys having some professional soccer players inside these funny-looking balls and having a great time. Everyone saw it. I looked at it and I immediately thought of corporate events and adult parties. And then this was back in January of 2013, and just light bulbs started popping up and lighting up over my head, and what an amazing opportunity for to bring something new and exciting and something that was fit and something that people can do as a group, and whether it's a bunch of friends, a bunch of bachelors or bachelorettes doing this for a party or a corporate event.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's funny because when I first saw Bubble Ball, a friend of mine showed it to me. I was like, "This is so weird," and I had seen that you could do it for bachelor and bachelorette parties. Is it fairly popular with bachelor and bachelorette parties?
Well, that's really, when you put together a business plan, you have your idea of how people are going to respond to what you're doing, and then there's the completely different reality of the situation.
Of course.
So my business plan was formed around 70% lead generation, revenue generation, and 30% private functions. And right now it was it just completely changed to 100% private functions and 0 lead.
Oh,
I'll tell you a little bit more about that later. But the private functions that we were doing were just private parties for adults. And I figured birthday parties, and then all of a sudden all these guys started calling up about bachelor parties, and I thought, oh man, that's all I need is a whole bunch of drunk 30-year-olds
yeah
bubble ball suits. But and then I got to tell you that the majority of people that contact me are actually women, not male, but women, and they're doing it as surprises for their the gentlemen in their lives. They're doing it for corporate events. So our site has to be a little bit it has to be friendlier to the audience that we're hearing from, and the audience that I'm hearing from are female. The average age is about 30 years old, and it's been a huge surprise. It's a surprise to see bachelors and bachelorettes. But the biggest surprise to me was that the league concept didn't fly at this point. I'm convinced it will fly. But at this point, when you get into a bubble ball suit and play for an hour, you don't want to play for a second hour. You are exhausted. If you're doing things right, you're going to be tired.
Right.
If you have a very enthusiastic event staff coordinated different activities, then you're definitely going to have a great time. Everyone's going to be involved. There's not going to be a lot of standing around. At the end of the hour, you're going to scratch this one off your bucket list and say, wow, I'm glad I did it, but I am exhausted. And you'll see a lot of pictures on our website of people who had just finished, and they look like they had a really good workout.
Nice. Yeah, well, because the bubble balls themselves are like, what, 20 pounds or something?
That's right. So
yeah.
I tell people it's like having a knapsack, because you're carrying it on your shoulders with harness. So it's not only the weight, but it's also, just imagine, picture yourself standing there, kind of focused on what's in front of you, wearing a bubble ball suit, in the middle of a game, and then someone hits you from the side. Well, your natural tendency is to, give yourself a standing sit-up, like you have a crunch.
Yeah.
It's a massive workout for your core. Just getting up is an exercise in itself.
Yeah.
And that's one of our first rules. We have 3 rules. Our first rule is don't hit anybody when they're down. It's a good life rule as well.
Yeah.
But, when you're down, you're having a hard enough time getting back up again. And
right.
So just getting up is a huge workout, and it's so people do it for a whole bunch of different reasons, but they do it because they want to laugh and they want to share, this, unique score settling experience with a whole bunch of their friends.
Great way to put it. So how has safety then been? Because you're mentioning you guys have 3 rules, one of them being don't hit them while they're down. So I would imagine, because to me, it doesn't seem like there's too much concern of injury because you are surrounded by a bubble ball, but at the same time, there's also the chance, if you flip over, you could hit your head or something. So how have you guys found the safety of it?
Well, first of all, can we just quickly talk very, very quickly about insurance?
Absolutely, yes, please.
Back in 2013, I contacted, first of all, you don't want to start this type of business without making sure that you're insured. Nobody deserves to lose their home because someone is suing you for liability, right? Yeah. So I approached my commercial insurance broker, and he contacted all of the underwriters here in Canada, and none of them had ever heard of bubble ball soccer, which was really kind of scary, right?
Yeah.
Then, which either means that I was either the first one to contact an insurance underwriter, or there were a whole bunch of organizations out there that weren't protecting their clients and themselves. So it took me about a month to actually to become insured because the underwriters weren't aware, and all they can see are these extreme videos online, and none of them want anything to do with it.
Right.
These videos, and they go, wow, why would we want all these claims?
Yeah.
So, it took a lot of education and a lot of patience to explain that what you see on the internet are the extreme examples of what this activity can be. And as you know, I'm sure you participated in many games. It's a lot calmer than what you see on the internet.
Right. It's like not too many people are flipping over, doing their backflips.
People are flying 5 feet into the air.
Right.
So injuries. In the time that we've been running our business, we've had 3 injuries. We've had someone that was rolling on their own on the sidelines. They were rolling, head over heels, and they didn't stop, and they rolled, and their feet flipped onto a metal bench, and they simply bruised their shin. Not bad. I wish he hadn't have done it, but that was the second rule. The second rule is you've got a huge playing surface. Stay within the playing surface. Don't go outside of the playing surface. That's the second rule. Don't bump anybody into the walls if you're playing indoors. and just stay, if you're going to hit people towards the center of the playing surface.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the first injury. The second the second injury just happened last week when a player bit her tongue and broke the skin in her tongue. That was pretty unfortunate, but it happens. It could happen with anything, but
right.
With every single game that we have, we try to make sure that people are aware that they're going to be hit and to be prepared for it. So obviously, this player wasn't quite prepared and bit her tongue. And the third, to be honest with you, Lindsay, I don't even remember the third. I know that there was a third, but it was pretty minor. So
right.
All in all, I mean, for the amount of people, for the thousands of people that we've had play, these three minor injuries aren't too bad. Oh, I just remembered. The third was a player with a pre-existing condition, bad knee, hurt himself when he twisted his knee, but he walked off on his own. But literally, that's it. Now, that's my experience. Other people might have other experience because of the surface that they play on. We try to convince our clients to play on turf, whether it's indoors or outdoors, but to play on turf. If you play on grass, I mean, I know it's easy. I know it's cheaper. I know it's easier to just go along with what customers want because they see the internet. But uneven grass, I can only imagine, is probably the biggest source of injuries with twisted ankles.
Oh, interesting. I hadn't thought about that.
So I mean, I know it's kind of going against the grain, and it's always easier to say, yeah, sure, we'll do that when it comes to asks. But I'm really cautious. I want people to have an amazing time.
Right.
When you play this outside, and everyone who does this, running their business, everyone has had events outside, and everyone knows that someone playing inside a plastic ball under direct sun is going to play for a very short period of time before they're exhausted. So, you could either go that route, or you can try to create an event where people are playing from the very first, whistle being blown until the hour or the 2-hour event is over. And that's what I would rather do. I would rather provide someone with an amazing event that's always fun, as opposed to someone playing for 10 minutes and saying, wow, I just can't do this anymore. This is great.
Yeah, absolutely.
We try to convince people to do it indoors and to do it on turf. I know that it's slightly more expensive, but divided between all the players, the additional cost of renting a turf field isn't that much. And ultimately, you're trying to sell the experience, and the experience shouldn't be 10 minutes long. It shouldn't be the first thing that comes to mind shouldn't be I was exhausted. The first thing that comes into mind after someone does it is, wow, that was fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And so how was the learning curve for figuring that out? Did you first try to start playing on grass and then find out that it wasn't working so much, or how did that go?
Well, it worked, and for people who call you when you're starting a business and someone calls you, and you're getting calls every day about doing events, and they all want to do it on grass, then you don't put the stop sign up and say, no, we don't do that. We just you're just so happy that there are actually phone calls coming in.
Yeah.
So we were doing as many events as we could, and we were doing it outside. And some people were coming to us and saying, why would you ever want us to do this outside? This is crazy. And I was seeing people having a hard time, after 20 minutes, 30 minutes of play. And we're forcing people to take water breaks. I mean, every event or every other goal, we're blowing the whistle and saying, guys, water break, remember I mean, all of our suits are numbered,
Mm-hmm.
so that people could take a water break and go back into their own suits.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
So
good point.
yeah, so we're forcing people to take water breaks, to hydrate, to give themselves every opportunity to play the entire event.
Mm-hmm.
So the experience was pretty short in terms of playing outside and realizing that there's a better way to do this. The better way is to play on turf and indoors, and that's for a whole bunch of reasons. Not only for safety,
Mm-hmm.
not only to be able to control the environment, because if if you play outside,
Mm-hmm.
we're going to take at least an hour to set up. So we arrive an hour before the event starts.
Mm-hmm.
If we're driving an hour to get there, we've got 2 hours invested already, plus the overhead of staff before the first whistle blows.
Right.
And if it starts to rain, you've just canceled the event. I mean, no one's going to play in the rain. It's dangerous. It's not fun.
Right.
So you just cancel the event. And the customer is going, well, now what? And well, sorry, I'm packing up and I'm leaving. And that wasn't a very profitable venture for either you or the client.
Mm-hmm.
So you're trying to create an atmosphere where it's safety, and try to avoid as many cancellations as possible. So the only way that you can do that is to do it indoors. Now there are some instances where you have to do it outdoors. For example, we do a lot of corporate events where people will go to a venue, have a meeting, and then after the meeting, they were all told, we're going to do a special activity, bring your athletic gear. So everyone walks out of the meeting dressed in their athletic gear, and there's a lineup of Bubble Ball Soccer suits welcoming them outside of their event, and that has to be outside, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so we've done a few of those, and they've been really successful. I mean, people just go, "Oh, what a great way to cap off, a corporate meeting, a fun corporate meeting."
Yeah, that's another thing that, like, because when I think of, corporate meetings and things like that, people just like in very stiff in suits and
Yeah.
and so I like the fact that people can make that transition from like their corporate job to getting into a bubble suit.
It's amazing. I mean, it's a great activity, because it doesn't really matter how big or how small, what gender you are. I mean, I have seen ladies, beat up on the biggest office worker because they're sneakier. They'll kind of play like little foxes, and they'll just come up from behind and hit them from behind when they're least expecting it.
Right.
And, guys typically celebrate good hits, and while they're celebrating, that's the perfect time to get them, because they're not expecting it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So I mean, you'll see in our on our website, you'll see photos. I mean, first of all, every photo that we have on our website are from our own events. We don't use other people's photos. The events that we have, you'll see that practically every event has a mix of women and men playing, and it really has been an incredible experience. I mean, I can't think of any other job that I could do where you go to work and everyone is smiling, everyone is just so excited to see you. It's just amazing. Everyone has a great time. I mean, it's just an amazing time with every single event that we've ever done.
Yeah, talk about a dream job.
Yeah, I mean, it's great. I mean, I'm just really thankful that the timing was right. I mean, when back when I started, I was, all these ideas were popping up into my head, and I was thinking, what name, Bubble Soccer, Bubble Ball. I mean, it was just, and then I Bubble Ball Soccer was available, and then I registered bubbleballsoccer.com, bubbleballsoccer.ca. I registered TorontoBubbleSoccer.com.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, and I actually registered CanadianBubbleSoccerLeague.com
Mm-hmm.
because that was where I thought we were heading,
Mm-hmm.
and everything kind of fell into place, and as soon as I published the website, within a day, people were calling, and it was just,
Wow.
I mean, it was just amazing. It was one of those, epiphanies where everything kind of fell into place, and
Mm-hmm.
so customers started calling, but other people started calling who wanted to start bubble soccer, and so I've had amazing relationships with people all over North America
Mm-hmm.
who called and asked questions about how to do this and how to get started. Where do you get the suits, and how do you find customers? And I mean, it's just an amazing experience. Connecting with people who are entrepreneurial and just want to do something like this in a good way.
Yeah, absolutely. When you first put your website up and launched everything, how did you get the word out? Like did you just how did you promote yourself basically?
Well, we had, first of all, with every, what I did is I went to every single venue in the Greater Toronto area,
Hmm.
which has a pretty large population. I know you're in New York, I understand, right?
Yeah. Yep, that's correct.
So the GTA um, has, depending on what the boundaries you want to consider, has up to 5 to 6 million people
Mm.
um, within a driving distance of 2 hours in either way.
Hmm.
So that's where we're focusing. We're focusing, all the way from, from uh, Kitchener, Waterloo,
Hmm.
um, all the way to Kingston
Hmm.
in the east. So what we were doing is we wanted to make it really easy for people to find where to play. So I created a Google map. I plotted every single indoor facility and a couple of outdoor facilities as well,
Hmm.
so they can find where they can play and where they could rent to have us come out.
Hmm.
And then I contacted all of these facilities, and I told them what we were doing, and I gave them the opportunity to advertise us within their facility, so that whenever we had an event, we were able to use social media to be able to tell people that we were going to be at this location, so that they can come out and see us live, and that was successful. And then whenever we do an event, we make sure that we have signs outside the venue, to
Hmm.
make sure anyone that is driving by and ever thought of doing a bubble ball soccer event could come in and check us out.
Hmm. Hmm.
We we have never paid for advertising.
Amazing. That's fantastic.
We have never paid for a Facebook like. We don't have very many of them.
Hmm.
We have, hopefully this broadcast will help us out getting more
Yeah.
likes.
Yeah, that's the point.
But our competitors have 4,000 Facebook likes. But when
Hmm.
you look at them, they've all been bought. They've all been, they have absolutely nothing to do with bubble ball soccer.
Yeah.
So, there are people out there that are, appearing ahead of us in
Hmm.
search engine optimization. And that's a bit of a shame. But I try to convince people that the pictures that you're seeing on our site are for real. There are events.
Yeah.
People, you don't pay people to smile.
Yeah.
They're smiling because they had an amazing time at our event.
Right.
And people that are hiring us to do their events are so happy that we actually have repeat customers. So
Hmm.
people that were invites or invitees for an event, they host their own event. and it just keeps growing from there. I mean, we have high schools, which is an amazing source for business.
Mm-hmm.
We've got high schools that have contracted us for every term, in their school, and until the end of next year. So
fantastic!
It's amazing. I mean, so we don't advertise. We don't do we don't do free events in exchange for promotions. It just doesn't. I mean, we work too hard to give it away for free.
Mm-hmm.
That's just the way. I mean, it's unfortunate, but that's just the way it is. I mean,
Yeah.
If someone calls and says, "I have a charity event and I'd like you to come, and I want you to do it for free in exchange for promotion,"
Mm-hmm.
then I'll say, "Well, I'll do it for a discount of 100% if you give me a charity receipt. Are you a charity?" "Well, yes, we are. Can you provide a charity receipt?" "No, I can't." "Well, then why would I give it away for free?" I mean, so I've been on TV. We've done newscasts. We've done different TV shows.
Mm-hmm.
We've done the season opener for Toronto's professional football team, the Toronto Argonauts.
Oh, cool!
And we were paid to do those, and we
Awesome.
were paid to do those because people know that you have to be reliable, you have to be professional, and the definition of professional is that you're getting paid.
Right.
So we don't mind doing charitable events,
Mm-hmm.
but it can't be based on doing it for free. It can be based on doing other things that you're getting paid for in a different way, but it can't be done for free because it's if you give it away for free, that's what people are going to value it at.
Great point. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, was there anything else you were going to say?
Well, I mean, just another point about promotion. The whole concept of Groupon and that type of thing. I mean, I've had other businesses. My wife owns a day spa, and we try to market our businesses as uniquely as we can. And the concept of Groupon is amazing for a certain select type of business, but for a service-oriented business, first of all, you're not going to be on Groupon unless you're going to offer someone a 50% discount.
Right.
Groupon doesn't want you there unless you're going to give a really massive discount so that their site becomes more popular.
Right.
If you give someone a 50% discount, at this point, Google isn't making it. Groupon isn't making any money. So the way they make money is they take 50% of whatever you sell. So you're giving someone a 50% discount, and then you're giving Groupon 50% of that.
Wow.
So you're now doing a bubble ball soccer event for 25% of what you would normally have done. In exchange for what exactly? I mean, in exchange for the idea that if people do this once, they're going to love it and they're going to want to do it again. Well, my experience is that the vast majority of people are glad that the hour is over. They had an amazing time, but they're just kind of, oh man, I am exhausted. They're not going to do this over and over and over again. So for that to make sense, you have to have a huge number of people wanting to do this again and again and again to kind of break even with the discount structure. So I haven't done Groupon. I wish people all the luck in the world doing Groupon and giving away their service for free in exchange for promotion. But for us, it's never really worked out, and the numbers just don't pan out that way.
Yeah.
And we've with promotional events that we've done, they've always been successful. I mean, it depends on how the client measures their success. I mean, if if you're giving away something for free,
Mm-hmm.
not a lot of people are going to show up.
Yeah.
Or, if you're charging for it and the client's paid for it out of their pocket, they're going to promote it a lot harder than if you just show up for free. And so I have friendly competitors who I constantly talk to, and they're doing promotional events for free. They go to a farmer's market, or they go to a company picnic for free, and they're just kind of standing there because nobody knew that they were going to be there. Nobody got dressed, properly for to play bubble ball soccer.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of standing there, people are going, "Oh wow, that's amazing! I wish I had known you were going to be here." So that's the kind of thing. So clients, if they pay for your service, they're going to have a little bit of skin in the game, and going to help promote your event.
Yeah.
The other thing is, my policy has changed from the beginning. We would get paid on the day of the event. But so what would happen is that people would book us for 20 participants, and we would set up for 20. We would have the staff for 20. We would allocate the amount of time for 20. And then 12 participants would show up. And then, people would say, well, I'm only going to pay you for 12 because 12 showed up. Right? Well, I could have been somewhere else with the other 8 suits doing another event.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that absolutely changed. And, and it changed because about 75% of the time, it just never worked out. When customers didn't pay for the event, they would kind of, not really force their friends to come out and make sure that people would show up.
Right.
But now, when they pay 100% of our event fee up front, 100% of the people show up.
Right.
So at the end of the day, everyone's happy. Right. So I think that's a really good strategy too. I mean, for people that are listening, don't give it away for free. No matter what promotional story that people are telling you. I mean, you're going to work hard, and people are going to see that you work hard, and it shouldn't be given away for free. And the second thing is make sure that people have skin in the game. I mean, if you're going to sell a 20 person event and you show up and only 12 people show up, then it's on them. It can't be on you, because you have other things to do with your resources. Right.
Absolutely. So yeah, you just have everyone, they pay right when they book, full fee?
Right. So here's our process. We have on our website, we have where can I play? People hit that, they select the Google map, and they look at what the most convenient location is to play. And then they contact us, and they find out if there's a certain date that they want, and if there is, we'll pencil them in for a few days without obligation. It's really simple. They just call us or text us or use our chat button on our website, and we just pencil them in. Tell them where to head to find a venue. They book the venue. And then once the venue is booked, we finalize our booking by sending them an invoice, telling them everything that we're going to do, giving them a list of things to remember, to bring, and to what to wear, and what to expect. And then we only finalize booking when the event is paid for.
Okay. Oh, okay. That's great.
So they can pay with credit card over the phone. They could pay with Interac online, with their online banking, and they can pay with PayPal. So we make it really simple, and we very rarely have ever had someone balk at that. I mean, at the end of the day, everyone is happy because we do what we tell them that we're going to do,
right,
and more. There's certain surprises that we do to make sure that everyone, kind of, has an amazing time.
Mm-hmm.
And they show up with everyone they promised that would show up, and that makes sense. I mean, everyone is motivated to do what they say they're going to do. And I think that works out well.
Right, absolutely. Um, have there, what are some of, are there any challenges that you can think of like when you first started out that you wish that would have been like super useful that you had known at the beginning?
Well, there are, we probably have more competitors per capita in the GTA than any other jurisdiction in North America. I can't believe how many people are just popping up everywhere. And since I've started, a few of them have gone down. And search engine optimization is really important. I mean, I have competitors that do some really funky things with search engine optimization that I would never do. But at the end of the day, they're probably getting more hits than we are. I'm a really good event person, but I'm not as technically experienced with search engine optimization. I would really focus on that, because most of our incoming calls are obviously coming in from online. So that's a huge piece of advice for people. Just really do their homework with SEO. I mean, I can't compete with some of the stuff that our competitors are doing, because it's just not what I do, or I want to do. But there are legitimate ways of improving your Google ranking, and I would focus on those as much as you can. That's a huge piece of advice. The other piece of advice that I would give people is to keep the pricing structure really simple. We have a 12-player minimum. We charge $25 per player for a 1-hour event. We charge $30 per player for 90 minutes, and we charge $35 per player for a 2-hour event. And that does not include setup. That does not include takedown and cleanup. It means that they're playing for the amount of time that they're paying for. So we're showing up before the event with enough time to deal with any surprises at the venue, and we're making sure that we're all set up before people start. Every single event that we do, we line up all of our suits so that when people walk into the venue, they see a wall of bubble ball suits.
Yeah.
And so when they walk in, they know that they're in for an event, not just a suit rental, which is what a lot of other people do. So this pricing structure is really important. So we have, like I said, we have a 12-player minimum. 12 times 25 is $300. That's the smallest event we do. And I also mentioned that we drive, up to 2 or 3 hours in either direction. So we don't charge for distance. We don't charge extra because people are an hour away or 2 hours away. But what we do is we request a larger party. So if we have a 12-player minimum for events within a 1-hour radius, we have a 16-player minimum for events between 1 hour and 2 hours.
Yeah.
And we have a 20-player minimum for events within an hour and greater than 2 hours. And that just means, they're getting value. They're not paying out of their pocket so that I can put money in gas in the car.
Yeah.
They're paying for a larger event, so more people are playing, and that has always worked out better for us. So the pricing structure has to be really simple, easy to understand, and it has to offer an inherent value, and at the same time motivate customers to create a larger event. And I think that's worked really well for us, so far.
Great. Okay, and then I know that you have a pretty busy afternoon, so I don't want to take up too much more of your time. But so just one more question. How about any successes that you've been really happy about in terms of the business?
Well, you know, I love the reviews that we've been getting. I mean,
Hmm.
we treat people the way we want to be treated, and
Yeah.
if you think of this type of service-oriented business as not only an event company, but if you think of yourself as a host, you mean you are hosting 20 strangers to do something that you are really passionate about.
Hmm.
They have to see that. I mean, they have to see your passion. I mean, our employees do not stand around with their arms crossed. I mean, they have referee shirts, they
Hmm.
have whistles, and they're active. They're running around helping people get up. They're smiling. They're laughing. They're hooing and hawing.
Hmm.
And the biggest joy is to have someone tell me this is better than I thought. I mean, you guys really made this an amazing event, and we'll do
Hmm.
this again.
Yeah.
That really, in this day and age, when you sell something online, customer service is no longer, you know, part of the equation for the most part.
Right.
And we are trying to surprise people with exceptional service, and that when someone acknowledges our work,
Hmm.
that's I live for that. I mean, I just love hearing people say, giving you 100% of the money up front. Wow, that was crazy. I thought that I didn't want to even think about what I was doing, but
Hmm.
you guys, when we walked in and that wall of suits were there, and you guys were all so excited about doing this for
Yeah.
us, that just it makes everything worthwhile.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
So this has been amazing, Lindsay. What a
Yeah.
great thing that you're doing. I hope everyone sees your hard work because it's been amazing.
Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate it so much that you've taken the time to talk with me, and I feel like a lot of people. I'm going to be interviewing someone who actually is just starting a business next next week. They're in California, and I feel like this interview is going to be super valuable for them and anyone else who might want to start out. So thank you so much.
Well, keep in touch, okay? I'm
Yeah, absolutely.
going to keep looking for you, and I hope I wish you all the success in the world.
Thank you. You as well. I hope that your business continues to grow.
Yeah, thank you.
All
Bye, Lindsay.
right. Take care.